the contact form is dying.
Are contact forms dead? I'm Josh. I'm here with Dill. Welcome back to another episode of CREview. Today we're talking about the future of lead generation in commercial real estate.
It sounds very dramatic.
It does.
The contact form is dying. That's what I wrote when I put this podcast episode together. Like, what are we going to talk about? And it's something we've been talking about internally at the agency for quite a while now. And I think just in the industry in general, the clients that we speak to, contact forms as a lead gen, for a lead gen purpose, in our opinion and from what we're seeing, are dying in the current form that they're in. So I think today I want to get into why is this happening, and then what are we doing about it? Like, how do we actually go about changing this? And, well, not changing it, but what is it becoming?
Yeah. And I think also, just for context, like as a marketing agency, we're sitting in brainstorms like we did today, meetings where we're looking at landing pages, looking at the layout of it, the contact forms, how are we wording it, what are the requirements to be filled out. And, like it really is something that is like we're deep diving into to make sure.
There's so much effort going into this now because
for many reasons, which I think we'll get into.
So many reasons. So I'm excited to talk about it. I think it's a really important topic, probably one of the most important we're going to have, because the industry, this is all they care about. They only care about leads. When we talk about marketing and sales, how do you get us leads? How am I getting leads into my brokerage? How am I getting leads for my tech platform? How am I getting leads to sell this space, sell this shopping center, sell this multi-family apartment building? How am I going to lease this space? I need people's contact details. And if people are not filling out forms anymore, how are we doing that? And I'm not talking about CREview and LoopNet and those types of search engine type of places where your clients, your potential customers are already there. They're really searching. They have intent behind them. We're talking more about, from an outbound point of view, how do we get people to come to our website and to fill in a form and to then make contact with them and try and get them to do something. So that's becoming more and more difficult in this digital age that we live in now.
Yeah. And it's also, I think it's a sign of the times. It's a new age of how people think about their own personal information. And, it's completely different to how it used to be. I mean, we used to just hand out our information to any Tom, Dick, and Harry, and now we hold that close to our chest. And
that forms part one of this discussion, I think, and that's going into why this is happening.
Yeah,
and that's the first thing. I don't want to give all my information away anymore. I don't know where it's going. I personally didn't used to care that much. I was like, take it. What's going to happen? What's the worst you can do? Yeah.
I literally just sat down now with the finance lady at a car dealership. Signing the papers. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And anyway, there was one of the many forms was, would you like to opt into marketing material? And I said, please no.
No one clicks that.
I said, is there an option to say please no? And she was like, yeah, but it doesn't guarantee that they're not going to contact you. It just goes to show, I mean, there's you can opt out as much as you want, unsubscribe. Your information is just across so many different places.
It's already out there, but now it's about protecting it, I guess.
But that is what has caused our distrust and our distaste towards people contacting us. It's just because of the overwhelming amount of it. And, there's so many people just reaching out, contacting you all the time, emails. I mean, I hardly even check my emails now because it's just so much spam. And I think we're now at the point where we're like, okay, enough is enough. We're trying to go back and undo. And, especially when it comes to sales, it's like being hurt. Like, it's almost like harassment.
It is harassment. It's a harassment. Like, I get that, when we bring it back to commercial real estate, It's slightly different because we want people to give us their information, okay? Because they have a need for what we're trying to sell to them. So whether you are leasing a space and you're putting your information into LoopNet, once you've done that, someone's going to call you. You know that's going to happen. Okay, so that's okay.
You're doing that to trigger that response,
right? Because you have a desire for a specific outcome, and the person that is selling that property or leasing that space has a desire to sell it to you or to lease it to you. So there's a mutual obligation for that person to do that, and then there's a mutual desire for you to speak to that person. So we've got consent in that regard. Okay. The problem comes in when someone doesn't know how that information is going to be used for them. So yes, they might come to your website and they might fill in your form, but they don't know where that information is going. So yes, they're probably expecting a sales call. They may not want it, especially initially, and we'll get into the user journeys, but they don't know what that company is doing with that information, because all companies now, not all companies, but they're selling that information to third parties that are using it for these email scraping lists and
or even at least just being plugged into some CRM somewhere where you're going to be reached out to just like at some point.
Exactly. So that's the first reason why these things aren't working anymore. It's privacy and it's data protection. And the more the world is getting used to having their data and their privacy, strewn about the internet, the more people are getting annoyed by it, and the more people are going to want to give it away. So when we look at it from that angle, do we really expect people to be giving us all this information on this form of this website that they've come to for the first time?
Yeah.
It's getting harder. It's getting much, much harder.
Especially when it, like in marketing, is like you're trying to lead, those are the crumbs that you're putting out. You're trying to lead people down a long user journey for commercial real estate. And that whole little marketing thread, you have to be so careful at where people drop off. And you got to nurture that whole phase, like the entire marketing
it's all
journey.
Nurturing now. Yeah.
It's all nurturing. And, that one little thing where you might be requiring a field like an email address or a company name that people don't want to fill out can end that whole journey right there.
Yeah.
And I think that is
all the good work that you've done to get that person
process, the whole awareness phase
stops it all.
Yeah.
And you potentially lose that customer.
And that's also, I mean, that expense, that marketing budget wasted per person that drops off there, that all adds up as well.
Yeah, it adds up. And let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
We're all tightening budgets and things like that. So you don't want to be wasting money on these things. And it is those little things that are becoming so crucial in every part of that user journey, from the first time someone hears about your offering to closing that deal. There are so many opportunities to lose that person, but you're putting money into all of them to make sure that you don't. So how are we getting around these types of things? And I don't want to go into the solutions just yet, because there are a few other things that are attributing factors to why people are not filling out these forms.
Yeah.
And one of them is, especially if it's for a longer sales cycle, people may not be ready to speak to someone.
Especially when you're not ready to speak to someone, but the only prompt on for example, a landing page or something, a piece of marketing material is
to speak,
reach out. Yeah.
And
you're like,
it's like, I may want to speak to someone at some stage.
Yeah, not yet.
But if I'm making a ton of decisions, I don't want to necessarily speak to someone right now, because I know
once you open that line of communication, it's going to be pushy.
Then it's open. You can't go back from there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people understand what the mandate of a sales rep They know what they are there to sell.
It's unspoken. Like, we know you. Like, your
And
job is
you're
to
going to try and
convince
convince me.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're going to try and convince me, and I'm maybe not ready to be convinced yet. This is a very big decision that I need to make. So I want to be more in control of the situation. And I sometimes feel that if you have to speak to someone, you don't have control of the situation, because if they're a very good salesperson, they might get you to do things that you are not willing and ready to do as well.
It's like canceling your gym contract. I don't see any button that's just like, oh, cancel here. It's like, no, you got to speak to someone.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
And they sell you.
And they're going to guilt you into staying.
No, they give you a discount.
They'll do whatever they have
freeze
to
your
do.
account. Like,
So those are the factors that we're dealing with now. And if that is what customers and consumers are feeling, we need to work within that, because it's our job as marketers and sales teams to understand how that customer is moving through our user journey. And if there's an issue in this place, we need to figure out how to fix that.
Yeah.
So a big thing of what we're trying to now do is understand how we can make that the part where people need to give or hand over their details, how we can give them more control of the situation.
It's also, it's essentially taking it from, because it's quite a hard point. It's like it's a big jump. It's a hard landing. How do we make it softer? And more comfortable?
And when we talk about softer, that's exactly it. It's not a hard sell at this moment. We want people to feel that they have the control, and that means softer call to actions.
And nurturing is comfortable and soft and fluffy.
Feels like you're getting a hug from the company.
Yeah,
they're not pushing you further down the plank. Making you jump. They're kind of pulling you in from the plank and giving you options.
And then inviting you into a warm, cozy little nest.
So there are a couple of things that we've started trying, and the results have started to come back fairly positive in terms of giving them control to say, okay, here's a form fill, but we're not going to call you unless you ask us to call you. We're going to email you with options. You can email us with any questions that you might have, and we'll email you back unless you want to speak to us. You can also reach out to us on LinkedIn. So DM the sales team.
So is that like a button?
So it's just a little button link, clicks through, goes through to that's the salesperson's LinkedIn profile, and you can connect with them and you can start a relationship that way. So you have control over, if they message you, you don't have to reply immediately. You can take your time. You can ask them any questions that you need.
I like that, because that also even just shows, even if the person, the prospect, that even if they don't reach out to the salesperson and they just connect, you can already be like, okay, like that's, you can still track that.
100%.
And it builds that human relationship, taking away from that like sort of corporate-y, cold website sort of, like smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. We've obviously been doing a lot of this work, and there's some interesting stats that came up. I'm going to read just one of them. 75% of B2B buyers, so not commercial real estate only, there's not enough data on that, they prefer a sales rep free experience until very late on in the game. So that's pretty new data to us that we're seeing. And 70% of those people are actually through this entire process before they are actually looking to speak to someone. So they've done all of their research. And that's so important. And what that tells us is that the landing page where you're sending these people, so whether it's a property that you're trying to lease out, whether you're trying to get someone to change their current tech platform, whatever it is, that landing page where you're sending them, maybe it's a home page or whatever, needs to have all of the information on it that they're going to need to get further down that journey with you.
I mean, that's exactly what we're speaking about in these meetings as well. It's like we're assessing what.
I mean, we're taking a microscope to landing pages.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, but it's like what headspace would they be in, because they've already seen XYZ. Therefore, we expect them to want to see this, and just in case they want to see more, there's also additional resources.
Yeah, and using tools like Microsoft Clarity, which we use, gives us so much insight. We can see in different stages of the funnel how they're interacting with that landing page. So we can see in the beginning of campaigns, when it's a new audience and we're warming them up, that they're only spending a very short amount of time on the very top part of that landing page. They're kind of wanting to see what is happening.
They want to go to the meat. Yeah,
they want to see, okay, this is what this is about. Cool. I'll maybe come back to this later. When we start pushing more consideration type ads to them and they're being retargeted, they're spending longer on that page. They're going further down. They're reading, they may be downloading some of the materials there. They're watching a video. They're looking through testimonials. And so we now start to see all of that information and how they're interacting with the entire campaign, and not just, oh, okay, they haven't filled out a form, so this isn't working. But it is working. Your campaign is working. You're just measuring the wrong thing as the ultimate decision maker.
Yeah.
Yes, we want those contact details because that's how we're going to reach out. But there are so many other factors that are going into the decision-making process of this person that we're able to track and see. Because ultimately, our job is to get your company a seat at the table.
Yeah.
And I've been talking to you about this for a while, and how we go about doing that with your content creation, etc. And how do we get you a seat at the table so that, and what that means is that when someone is making a decision, and generally a biggish decision, especially in commercial real estate, like these are not small, everyday, easy decisions like buying, whatever online,
huge like property investments.
These are big things. So how do we get your brand in front of them at the right moment when they are making these decisions? So the campaigns do all of that work, but in that work and in those campaigns and on that landing pages are all of these different, what I call leads information. Okay, so that's what I've built out, and we call it lead scoring now.
It sounds cool because it also sounds like information.
Right? I didn't think of that, Josh. Thank you. When we think about a lead and how we're measuring the entirety of a 6-month or 12-month campaign, it isn't just about the details that we got from that person from that form that they filled out, because we're getting so much information on that potential lead when they do come in, that during that process, if we can see in a campaign that the people at this stage of the funnel are watching this video the most, that is valuable information to us to say, okay, what's the topic? What's the topic of that video? What's the theme? Why are they enjoying it? How long are they watching it for? That information gives us so much in terms of our arsenal to then go and build more content around that, because they're really interested in that. So I can say, okay, great, they're really interested in that topic. But I then go to the sales team and I'm like, guys, we need to get you talking about this, because we can see that the audience that we're warming in this region are very, very interested in how much this is going to cost them, for instance. So I think maybe we're doing something like a slide deck for you around this, or maybe we're putting a video together, or a Loom video for, when you're having interactions from a sales point of view. So what I'm trying to say is that, yes, the contact form might be dying, but we are able to access so much more information from campaigns and from landing pages that when you are reaching out through cold calls, sales, etc., into these locations, you have way more information now to try and close those deals.
What I love about this all is, like, you talk about Microsoft Clarity and landing pages with contact forms and all these things, and a lot of the times you question everything else but the mere fact that you have a contact form that needs to be filled out. I mean, that's what maybe we always used to do, and be like, oh, like maybe we rethink the image, or put that image there, that video there, and that copy there. And I think all of this has kind of clarified what doesn't work. And it's cleared that whole cloudy thought of like all those other issues that could be. So now we know. We're like, okay, this is not working. And I think that is so important, especially, I mean, even when it goes into like Microsoft Clarity with the contact forms and the videos and all those things, and like how far people have watched, it just shortcuts that whole process of trial and error.
Exactly. You know, there's so much less guesswork now because of how much information we've got.
And guesswork costs money.
Because it takes time to change these things. So we can look at Microsoft Clarity and say, you know what, we actually need to bring this further up the page because, you know, the audience is spending more time there.
Or change the topic,
change the heading, whatever, based on how people are interacting with that landing page. And we can do that pretty quickly, and we can then see the results immediately. You know, we've done it pretty recently on a campaign where we actually just needed to move one of the videos further up the page, and we could see the rest of that, the story of that landing page. People started to scroll further because it was telling a better story and all of those things. And the contact form page was, you know, that contact form was at the top, and we changed things slightly there, and we softened things, and we can start to see the results immediately from these campaigns. So when we talk about, you know, this topic of the contact form is dying, it might be dying, but there is so much that we can actually do that is outside of just getting these details.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. I think come the ashes, something else will rise.
Yeah. What phoenix is going to rise from the ashes of the cold contact form. It's a bunch of other leads, and you know, these leads in formation. There's so much other insight that we've got now.
I think by closing this one big door, multiple little doors are opening.
And it's not even closed, you know, it's more about people are going to fill that form out when they are ready to fill that form out, when they're ready to speak to someone, or they're going to reach out to you on LinkedIn, or they're going to email you. But the key to this is making them feel that they have the control over the situation. And I'm not saying this is going to be true for every single person. There's still old school mentality where people want to talk to someone immediately, and that's 100% fine because, you know, that's super achievable. But there are other things like, you know, adding chatbots to your landing page, having AI there so that people can ask questions. So there's so much that we can do now from a technology and a digital perspective that just relying on someone filling out the form doesn't necessarily mean that something is working or not working.
It's also like completely reactive. There's no proactivity in that. It's like some like fat cat sitting in an office waiting for someone to come knocking on the door, as opposed to like being out there and being innovative and thinking of ways to, you know, we're talking about like the phoenix rising from the ashes in terms of the contact form. What else do you think is going to come out of this?
So another cool stat to kick this off is before most B2B buyers speak to a sales rep, they're consuming 13 pieces of content.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of information before they are speaking to someone.
Yeah.
Which tells me that they want to be armed with information before they get sold by someone.
Yeah.
So that they're able to make the best decision possible, and then they're not going to lose money in the long run. Because I feel like that's what the world is coming to more and more, where with all of the options that we have, there's so much shouting out there.
I hate options as well. I think a lot of people do, especially the older you get. And commercial real estate being somewhat of an older sort of generation, obviously younger moving in, but you know, variety is overwhelming, and too many options lead to no decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same, like, you know, if you think about, I mean, I was telling you about said I wasn't going to speak about it, but, you know, shopping for a new car.
Yeah.
I went through the whole process of deciding which car I wanted, then went into the deep dive from like watching YouTube videos to the point of like figuring out how the app works and connects to the car.
Yeah.
It's so deep down that rabbit hole. But I want
exact
to know
3
everything
months ago.
until I'm like, cool, Kurt, like I'm ready to buy.
Yeah.
When can I get it?
Because you don't want to make the wrong decision because there's so many options out there.
Yeah.
So if you go back 100 years, you could only buy one car.
Yeah. There's one
Black
Ford.
Yeah. That's what you got.
Yeah.
So
Or you on your
Easy
feet
decision.
or a horse.
Easy decision.
Yeah.
But now in the B2B world, it's endless. There's just endless possibilities, and there's more companies coming out offering new things, new technologies.
Yeah.
And so when I see a stat like people are consuming 13 pieces of content before they speak to a sales rep, it makes so much sense because they want to be armed with information so that they don't make the wrong decision and they don't lose money. So that tells me is that just having a basic landing page with, hey, this is what we do, reach out, someone's going to contact you, it's not good enough anymore.
No.
It's not enough information. So with that contact form dying out, it is dramatic because it's not really going anywhere. But in terms of the amount of leads we get now from it, it is dying out. But what we need to do is we need to arm people with more information about us so that they feel confident in what we can do and that they know that when they speak to someone from that company, they're not going to get hoodwinked. They're not going to get sold. They're not going to lose money on this. And
I sort of stop you there also just in terms of that, giving people information about what we do, and that is also can go down the wrong path of people talking about how great they are. And, like, oh, we the best because of this and we blah, blah, blah.
Everyone says
that's all, like you're brown nosing yourself in a way. Whereas you actually, and people don't like that as well.
People hate brands.
Yeah. So you actually want to get the real hard truth. Answer those questions from the horse's mouth that people will be thinking with real answers.
And even then, they may not believe you.
Yeah.
And that's when like community and things like that come in. You think of Reddit, you think of commercial real estate communities, events, conferences where people are talking. That all starts to build around your brand. And I mean, we've done podcasts on branding and those types of things. But people want information. They want information that they can trust.
Think of a testimonial, like, for Atypical, for example. Say we had a video saying it was a client, we say, on the website, and they're like, Atypical is the best. We love them because they changed our lives. And, like, in theory, on paper, like, testimonial, like they said, like, there was a problem, solution, all those things.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, before we were with Atypical, we used to get 1 lead a month.
Yeah.
And we thought that was big.
Yeah.
Now, since making the move, we now get 20 leads every week.
Yeah.
And these are big sales, and our conversion rate is this. And, we couldn't have done it without the marketing agency, which is Atypical. That sort of way of, like, even how they deliver testimonials and these case studies and that.
Yeah.
It's like looking into that, like, because that's still high level fluff where people want the hard facts.
Yeah, because
that information.
Yeah, it shows more credibility, and it shows that you're talking their language.
Yeah,
and that's why Google
and you're on the same page.
Yeah,
you're not. There's no sort of area where you have to now get onto the same sort of level. You're like, I get you.
Yeah. And having that from a Google reviews point of view is even better. Like we spoke I don't know when it's coming out, but we spoke about like Google My Business and why that's so important. Because if people are able to leave reviews about your company that you can show on your website, that is like legitimate credibility right there.
Yeah.
That is scoring you as a company based on if you were shit, people are going to know about it. And if you were great, people are going to know about it.
That's generally a place where people go and complain. More often than not, people will go there to leave a bad comment because they're upset. I can walk away from a place and be like, I can feel good and I'm happy with the service and I can tell someone next to me. I'm not going to be like, you know what? I'm actually going to go as far as going online.
Well, so some people do it.
Some do, but that's also just goes to show like the level of satisfaction and the relationship that was developed in that process to be like, you know what? I'm actually I want to make it known that
Yeah.
that was such a good experience.
Yeah.
And I think if you have a lot of that, and people know that.
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of those, it's like, it's not just fluff.
It's also okay to ask for that stuff.
Yeah.
It's okay to ask people to review.
Which people are doing all the time now.
Definitely, because it definitely increases your brand credibility and your trust. And if we look at the world today, trust is at an all-time low for everything. People I don't trust anything.
Yeah.
It's
Why do you
impossible.
trust us? We could be fake. This could be an AI video right now.
It could be.
You know what I mean? Like,
There's so many scams, there's so much phishing stuff going on.
Yeah.
What can we trust anymore? And just having a landing page with testimonials, like, how do you go further? Like, what are you doing to go further? And I know we're talking about the death of the contact form, but all of this plays a role in how people consider you to become part of their stable of brands that they work with, and are they going to buy from you? Are they going to use your product? Are they going to do all of these things? Because ultimately, if we think about they're consuming 13 pieces of content before they want to speak to you, all of those things become part of your lead journey.
Yeah.
It's all of the information that we have leading up to them trusting you enough with their information for you to reach out to them. Like, it's a big deal now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a really big deal for people.
I think we feel like the world is against us. Who aligns with us in this sort of
Who's going to give
fight
us a hug?
maneuver? Yeah. Who's on our team? It's like the same way you think about what sports team you support or what brand you like. Where do you shop? Like, why do you choose those ones? Because it aligns with you. Who aligns with the same sort of way you think?
Yeah.
It's on the same page as you. Who you want to associate with.
It becomes your brand story and your brand building and how people perceive you when they hear your name.
Yeah.
And
especially with such big decisions such as, purchasing a shopping center or investing in a new development or, franchising and all those things. It really does shape the future of your career, your company, you as an individual, which is the rest of your life,
Yeah. It's what's putting food on your table at the end of the day, and
it can make or break you as well.
You don't want to make the wrong decision. And if we think about 13 pieces of content, I keep going back to this, and why it's so important is because what content are you giving that potential customer before they reach out to you?
And that is 13 opportunities, 13 reasons why.
And it's
13 chances.
So-called 13 reasons.
Yeah. 13 opportunities for you to lose that customer.
Yeah. That is scary.
So it's not like what 13 steps are they taking to come like along my little happy-go-lucky journey. It's like 13 bricks that we got to carefully place, and hopefully the tower doesn't fall over.
Look, that's an average, so some might be more, some might be less. So what I'm saying, what we're coming back to this whole time is
what you're trying to say.
But it's the leads information, right? It's the lead scoring that we're trying to implement, because if they're consuming 13 pieces of content before they speak to someone, we're able to track 13 pieces of content.
True.
I know what 13 pieces of content they're reading about this, our client.
Yeah, what they like,
because
about
we're
it and what
creating it, we're producing it, we're putting it in front of them. We're putting it in front of them.
Yeah.
So whether that is through a Google search ad or a display campaign or on a news site, whether it's a blog, whether it's an email, whether it's a speaking opportunity at a conference, whether it's a TikTok video, whether it's a gated piece of content on the landing page, whether it's a video on the landing page.
Yeah, an email.
Those are these 13 pieces of content that they're consuming. And that is how you're going to get them to fill that form out. And that's what we're dealing with now. That's what we deal with in this day and age, because trust levels are so low, because people don't want to speak on the phone, because they don't want a pushy salesperson trying to convince them when they aren't ready to do that, because they don't want to give up their privacy and their data. Like, think about all of the reasons that people don't want to fill that form in. And then we've got to figure out how we still get them to that point.
Yeah.
Which is so daunting. And that's obviously what we've been speaking about in this podcast. So that, you know, there are little things that you can do, like we've spoken about, like softer CTAs, like trimming the form a little bit. But even when you start trimming that form and making less fields in that form, spam starts to get through, the bots start to get through. So, and then you're getting shit leads, then you're getting shit qualified leads. So these are all things that you've got to think about, and it's not easy.
No, I was gonna say now.
It's difficult, man.
Imagine being like a one-man band, like in-house type.
It's really difficult.
To be able to do this must be harder than ever. You know, before it was cool. You know, you could make a cool little landing page on Wix and be like, "Oh, cool!"
When people trusted you, it was great.
Yeah, that must have been
much easier.
Yeah, now it is like near impossible unless you're doing all of these things.
And you see the difference when we talk about B2B and commercial real estate versus B2C consumer buying a Garmin watch on a website. It's much easier because you don't actually have to put your contact details in.
No.
You're just buying it with your credit card, which everyone now trusts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people are able to make that decision so fast now. It's frightening. It's insane how fast they can make that decision that used to probably take them like maybe a lot longer. They have to go into a shop. They'd probably try it on.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I don't like this one. Let's try another one. Now you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to buy it. If I don't like it, I'm going to send it back.
I mean, you can't impulse buy a commercial real estate like property.
So B2C has got faster.
Yeah.
But B2B has got slower because there's more options and you're liable for bigger
consequences. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the two industries are going like this, in my opinion. And so when you're in B2B marketing, you got to do a lot of stuff to get the person into your CRM, you know. And I'm not saying the B2C side, they don't have to do a lot of work. They got a ton of competitors, so they've got all of that to deal with. And there are competitors in commercial real estate, obviously, but it's so different now. It's like the way that technology is changing behaviors is wild, and it's only going to keep changing.
Yeah.
And these things are only going to become more intense, I think. I mean, if I think about the amount of spam calls I get every day, I don't answer my phone.
Yeah, you said you don't answer.
I literally do not answer my phone. If I get a call from a number that I don't know, I don't even let it ring through. I just cancel it immediately.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even.
You want them to know. No.
Every now and then I'll be like, let me answer, and then it's an automated message.
Oh, that is my word.
Like an automated.
That is my word.
Like, are you kidding me right
now?
Yeah. So why do I want to put my name down for more things? I don't want to do it.
Because this is what has been happening. Therefore, cool. I've learned. I've burnt my hand.
And this is human behavior is changing in front of us as we speak with AI, with all of these different things. Trust is dead. So how do we start to build that up? You know, and how do we start to get people to have more control over their own customer journey towards making the decision with you? So to wrap it up, you know, the cold form is almost gone. And when I say it's almost gone, it's still going to be there, but it is not the only indication of whether you have a seat at the table or not anymore. That used to be the indicator.
Yeah.
If you didn't get the lead in, you weren't considered to be considered, you know, having a seat at the table with that potential customer. Now, that cold form is nearly gone, but there are a lot of other indicators that you still are considered and you are still, you know, a potential seat at that table.
Yeah.
You know, just a tip and what I suggest, and I suggest this for everyone that we work with, but if whoever listens to this, get marketing and sales to become best friends.
Unagi.
Get them to become best friends, because this overlap is so critical now in B2B marketing, and especially commercial real estate. Gone are the days where sales and marketing can't be friends.
Yeah.
It's just the user behaviors are changing too much. There's too much that's going. Those two positions in the funnel are blending. They're
Yeah.
becoming a blended, basically this blended machine.
I mean, it's the same as like if you look at like a video editor and someone that animates. Now it's expected that video editors can animate as well.
Yeah,
it's like,
and I'm
need those two components to work together.
There needs to be, and I'm not saying that sales has to do marketing and marketing has to do sales, but what I'm saying is that if it's becoming harder to get form fills, to get people's details through form fills, the other indicators, the other signs of intent that we're seeing in marketing campaigns and on landing pages,
sales
have to be seeing those.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're doing now with our lead scoring.
Yeah.
All of that information that we're saying, okay, cool. How do we give this to sales so that they're better equipped when they're speaking to people?
Yeah.
So
that's ammunition for sales.
For me, that is like the number one tip that I would give to anyone who is struggling when it comes to these form fills and they're starting to see a decline, because I'm telling you, most people are, unless you're, I don't know, JLL, CBRE, whatever. But even then, I would say for big decisions, I think they're also seeing a decline in this stuff. So
yeah, for sure.
Sales, marketing, go away together, make friends.
Go on a little company retreat.
Yeah, because it's more important than ever.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that, please like and subscribe and check out our other content. We're posting pretty often.
Yeah, lots of really cool,
lots of cool hot topics.
Big stuff for next year coming out.
Big things.
Please stay tuned. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Catch us on Spotify as well.
Yep. And we'll see you next time.
Later.